$100. That's all it takes to become an investor in 2026. And if you do it right, that first 100 matters more than any 1,000 you'll invest later, because it builds the machine that all your future money will run through. Today I'm walking you through exactly how to start investing with your first $100, step by step, which account to open, what to actually buy, how to automate it, and the 3 beginner mistakes that quietly destroy more wealth than any market crash. No jargon, no gatekeeping, just the playbook. Let's build your machine. Number 1. Fix your foundation first. Before a single dollar touches the market, 2 quick checks. First, high interest debt. If you're carrying a credit card balance at 24% interest, paying it off is your best investment. No fund on earth reliably beats a guaranteed 24% return. Attack that first. Second, a starter emergency buffer. You don't need the full 6 months of expenses yet. That comes later, but you need enough that a flat tire doesn't force you to sell your investments at the worst possible moment. $500 to $1,000 in a high-yield savings account is enough to start. Investing without a buffer is how beginners end up selling low. Foundation first, then the fun part. Number 2. Open the right account. This takes 15 minutes on your phone. You have 2 main choices. A standard brokerage account, flexible, withdraw anytime, taxes on your gains, or a tax-advantage retirement account. In the US, that's a Roth IRA, and most European countries have their own version, like an ISA in the UK. Here's why the retirement account is usually the winner for your first 100. In a Roth-style account, your money grows completely tax-free for decades. Every dividend, every gain, the taxman never touches it again. The trade-off is that it's designed for the long haul, with limits on early withdrawals. The move for most beginners: retirement account for the long-term snowball, brokerage account later for medium-term goals. Pick a well-known broker with 0 commission trades and no account minimums. There are several. And skip anything that charges a monthly fee to hold your money. 2 quick safety checks before you deposit a cent. Make sure the broker is regulated in your country, licensed and registered with your national financial authority, and make sure client accounts carry investor protection insurance, which covers you if the broker itself ever fails. Every reputable name passes both checks, and they publish it proudly at the bottom of their website. If you can't find it in 2 minutes, that's your answer. Number 3. Your first $100 goes into 1 index fund. Not 10 stocks, not a hot tip, 1 broad, boring index fund. Here's why. An index fund buys you a tiny slice of the entire market, hundreds of companies across every industry, in a single purchase. If one company collapses, you barely feel it. If the economy grows, you own the growth. A total market or S&P 500 index fund has historically returned around 7 to 10% a year over long periods, and it charges almost nothing. Good index funds cost under 0.1% a year in fees. Compare that to actively managed funds charging 1% or more, and most of them still lose to the index over time. The research is brutal on this. Over 20 years, roughly 90% of professional fund managers fail to beat the boring index. You're not settling for average. You're buying the thing the professionals can't beat, for $100. And here's what that 100 actually looks like in practice. With fractional investing, $100 in a total market fund makes you a part owner of the biggest companies on earth. The phone in your pocket, the search engine you use today, the store that delivered your last package. Your fee on that? A fund charging 0.03% costs you 3 cents a year per $100. 3 cents for a slice of the entire economy. That's the deal index funds offer, and it's the best deal in finance. Number 4. Automate it before motivation fades. Here's the uncomfortable truth about willpower. It runs out. The investors who win aren't the most disciplined. They're the ones who remove discipline from the equation entirely. So the same day you make your first investment, set up an automatic transfer, $50 or $100, every payday, straight into that index fund. Most brokers let you automate both the deposit and the purchase. This is called paying yourself first, and it flips the entire psychology of money. Investing stops being what's left over after spending, and spending becomes what's left over after investing. One automatic rule, set once, will out-earn a decade of good intentions. If 100 a month feels impossible right now, start with 25. The amount matters less than the wiring, and time the transfer to land the morning after payday, not the end of the month. Money that leaves first never gets spent. Money that waits until the 28th rarely survives. This one scheduling detail is the quiet difference between people who invest for 3 months and people who invest for 30 years. Number 5. Use fractional shares and dollar cost averaging. Two tools that make $100 go further than it ever could before. Fractional shares mean you can buy a slice of any fund or stock. If a share costs $500, your 100 buys a fifth of it. Price is no longer a barrier to anything. And dollar cost averaging is what your automation from step 4 is quietly doing. Investing a fixed amount on a fixed schedule, no matter what the market is doing. When prices are high, your 100 buys fewer shares. When the market dips, the same 100 automatically buys more. You never have to guess the right moment, and that matters because even the professionals can't time the market. Missing just the 10 best days in a decade can cut your total returns roughly in half, and those best days tend to hide right next to the worst ones. Steady beats clever. Every time. If you doubt it, look at the 2 scariest crashes in living memory. In 2008, the market fell roughly 50%, and anyone who kept their automatic deposits running bought the entire recovery at discount prices. In March 2020, the market dropped 30% in a month, and then finished that same year at record highs. The people who lost were overwhelmingly the ones who stopped, sold, and waited for it to feel safe again. Feeling safe is expensive. Automation doesn't feel anything. Number 6. Avoid the 3 mistakes that kill beginners. Mistake 1. Stock picking with money you can't afford to lose. Buying individual stocks feels exciting, but excitement is the enemy. If you must scratch that itch, cap it at 5% of your portfolio and treat it as tuition. Mistake 2. Panic selling. The market will drop after you invest, maybe the week after. A 20% drop on $100 is $20, and historically every single crash has eventually been recovered and surpassed by the broad market. Selling during the dip is the only way to make a temporary loss permanent. Mistake 3. Fee blindness. A 2% annual fee sounds tiny, but over 30 years it can quietly eat a third of your total wealth. Check the expense ratio on anything you buy under 0.2% or walk away. Avoid these 3 and you're ahead of most investors twice your age. And one bonus warning, because it's 2026, ignore the hot thing your feed is screaming about. Every meme stock, every coin of the month, every last chance opportunity has one thing in common. By the time it reaches your feed, the early money is already looking for someone to sell to. Your boring index fund doesn't need you to be early, because it isn't going anywhere. The market rewards patience far more often than it rewards speed. Number 7. Scale the snowball. Your first 100 is the seed. Here's how it becomes a forest. Every time your income rises, raise your automatic investment before your lifestyle catches up. Got a 3% raise? Move 1% of it to the transfer. You'll never miss money you never saw. Run the compounding math, and it stops feeling small. $100 a month at historical average returns is roughly $17,000 in 10 years, $45,000 in 20, and around $150,000 in 30, from about $3.30 a day. Double the monthly amount, and you roughly double the outcome. And remember, the machine you built today runs on autopilot. The account, the fund, the automation, you made every important decision once, and time does the heavy lifting from here. It helps to know the milestones ahead of you, because the journey is front-loaded with doubt. The first 1,000 feels impossibly slow. That's normal. It's almost all your own deposits. At 10,000, something shifts. The market's daily moves start to matter more than your monthly contribution. And somewhere past 100,000, your money quietly starts earning more per year than your savings rate adds. The machine begins to outwork its builder. Every investor you admire walked through those same 3 gates. The only difference is when they started walking. So here's the whole playbook in 30 seconds. Clear the toxic debt. Park a starter buffer in high-yield savings. Open a tax advantage account with a zero-fee broker. Put your first 100 into one broad index fund. Automate a payday transfer. Let fractional shares and dollar cost averaging do their quiet work. Dodge stock picking, panic selling and fees, and scale up with every raise. That's it. That's the machine. The best day to start was 10 years ago. The second best day is before this video ends. What's stopping you from investing your first 100? Or what did your first investment look like? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe to Wealth Compass, because next we're breaking down the 50-30-20 budget, the simple system that can free up $10,000 a year on a normal salary.